Welcome to Bruins Overtime Live, presented by BuyToyota.com. For offers not seen on TV, visit BuyAToyota.com. With Billy and Razor, I'm Sophia. 5-1 the final for the St. Louis Blues, a team that's threatening to not even make the postseason. And yes, there was that disallowed goal, guys, that we'll definitely get into as we have updated information about why that was a disallowed goal from the NHL. But regardless, really didn't come out with as much zip as they had in the previous four.
No, you're playing a team that had lost their previous three.
Right.
It's the last game of a road trip, a Northeast road trip for the Blues. They didn't do too well in the metropolitan New York area, and I mean, it wasn't like they came out breathing fire, but they were ready, and the Bruins had chances at first. They were just off. They just couldn't finish. They just couldn't get to that mark or whatever it was. And then that fluke goal almost set the tone for the night, how it was going to be, and then they never seemed to right it totally. I kept thinking they're going to be okay, Razor. I did. And you know me, Mr. Positive, all the time. You know, I kept thinking, but really, they were going to be all right if they got that one. They just never got that one.
No, it didn't come, unfortunately. I thought they worked for it. I thought they tried to find it. I thought the opportunities St. Louis got were kind of one-offs. It wasn't like they had sustained pressure for long periods of time on the Bruins. It just, the one goes off the boards and right out in front. Then you have a 5-on-3, and then you have an indecision play, and it goes down to a 3-on. So you can explain all the goals away against, and you can find ways to find goals that they should have scored as well. But at the end of the day, it's 5-1 or 4-1 game. But it wasn't a horrible effort. But
their coverage at times was bad. Yeah, they were unlucky at times.
Yeah.
But I also did think their coverage.
The third goal was horrible. Like the two goals in the second period.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, but it wasn't like the bad zone coverage that we've seen in zone where they had the puck a lot. It was one play down the ice and more individual defense rather than team defense that wasn't great.
Yep.
Really quick, before we get to the goal, I'm confused. Mr. Positive is your nickname?
Oh, yeah.
Since when?
Just that second.
Well, yeah, just 1 second.
It's called sarcasm.
Yeah, no, I know. Just pointing it out.
Just go do your wash.
yeah, my laundry. All right. Robert Thomas, we're going to start here, scoring when the Bruins were 2 men in the box. Charlie Coyle and Trent Frederick giving them a 5-on-3.
It was right off the draw. So 9 seconds in, the high stick from Frederick. The Bruins were doing a pretty good job killing a penalty. A little unlucky for that stick to ride up. And Thomas, who just had 1 goal in his prior 11 games coming into tonight, scored his 21st. The all-star for the St. Louis Blues hammered this one home. No chance for Jeremy Swayman, no chance for Hampus Lindholm to block. This is just a good 5-on-3 play that if you are in the NHL and you are on a 5-on-3, if you make 2 correct plays, 2 correct passes and a great shot, they go in the net.
Yeah, it's simple. It's really just simple play that is under thinking and just moving the puck, and sometimes less is more, right? Thomas had a good night and a goal, but he also was really good in the face-off circle. He led the way. He's their best player.
He is. He's a really good hockey player.
Yeah, he is. He's their best young player for sure.
Razor, as you mentioned, the Hayes family, lots of history here, and I'm sure a lot of friends and family in attendance, and Kevin gets his 12th of the season to make it 3-0.
And this is the indecision play we kind of talked about or alluded to, that you have an offensive zone face-off. Mason Lohrei finds himself in absolute no man's land. David Pastrnak doesn't read Mason Lohrei, turns into a 3-on-1, and what was a 2-0 game where you had a good 4.5 minutes of hockey played. You have an offensive zone face-off with your top line out on the ice, turns into a 3-on-1 and a goal down at the other end. It's a bit of a backbreaker. It
is, yeah. I mean, look, you really have a hard time defending a 5-on-3 goal. You also have a hard time defending a 3-on-1 right there.
Yeah.
If you're the Bruins, you get kind of hung out. Shattenkirk's in the middle there. But, Lohrei, again, I'm curious to hear. I'd love to hear whether it's hearing from Coach Montgomery or one of the assistants. Should he have attacked right? Would they want him going right away there? They have to make him. They have to want him to make it that better decision, right? Do I go hell's bells right after him, or do I just kind of gap up, come back, and live for another shift? Type of thing. But then Pastrnak still, he does need to read that better too. He needs to get himself back, because he was both caught in no man's land as well.
Well, if you guys at home, guys and gals at home, are as confused as we were, we didn't hear the ref because the mic went out here at the rink about this no goal. Here is Rule 83.2.
Puck which is propelled into back by the attacking team and deflects off any player shall be ruled offside or delayed offside as appropriate. So now we'll try and use this as we watched the video of this a couple of times to decipher it.
Right.
So are they saying it was propelled by Brazeau into the zone?
And off of Krug.
And off of Krug, and then Krug basically didn't have possession and control of the puck, and thereby didn't bring it back in as on his own volition. If he does that, if he brings it in, Krug brings it in, then that is.
I thought it was off. I thought it was with.
So right here. So are they saying Lauko is the one that brings it in?
It.
But see, I feel like, they're saying Krug doesn't have control. So that's what they're saying. I disagree. I thought that should have been a goal.
And he had control after it.
Yeah.
It wasn't like Brazeau got in between Krug having touched it to Weiss.
Right.
It's confusing, and as appropriate always, they throw that one in the rule book to add some gray. Great shift. Fourth line was really good tonight. They deserved much more than what they got because this was a great play. Brazeau taking it to the net, and just unfortunate that it was a very, very, very close offside call that negated it.
Yeah, absolutely. Could have been a difference maker in this one, especially if the call went the other way. Bruins would have had the power play, but hey, that's in the past. We're going to focus and look ahead, but first we're going to hear from Jim Montgomery, who goes one-on-one with Andy Brickley. After this one, we'll play that for you next. Bruins Overtime Live on Nesson is presented by buyatoyota.com. For offers not seen on TV, visit buyatoyota.com.